Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee Corner with you today, episode 13. Uh, today is an interesting one because, we have been gone for quite some time, and that's because we just got some new mics in, and we've been working on our consistency, and we need the adapters. It's a whole big thing, but I was so excited to do our podcast today. We have been thinking of different things to do, different subjects. Um, and we ended up settling on sound. But before we get into that, we're still partnered with Coffee in the Park. So especially at times like this, we need to support our local small business owners and everything. So if you guys could go down to the link in the description for some fire coffee. Okay. Now that that's done, I'm of course back, and so is your co-host. Daniel, say hi.
Hi.
All right, so we're going to be talking about sound today. Now, we have already talked about music, but we're going to be going. That doesn't make sense when you say it out loud sometimes. But we're going to be going deeper into this because I feel like we haven't touched enough with how it can affect you. I mean, we have touched with, how it makes other people feel, but not really why it makes people feel this way and what it does. So it's actually crazy because whenever I'm doing these, like looking at these studies, I feel like I learn more and more. It's awesome. So it's not just a learning experience for like one of us here. But basically, the study that I'm reading is I picked up on a couple things. One is people have been doing this since the 20th century. So people have been doing studies on how sound and music can affect your mood. And I've actually like learned a lot. So this study was one of many that I chose because it felt like it was best suited for us. So how do you, Daniel, personally connect to sounds and music? What do you think draws you?
I think it's really what builds the structure of what we're what we have an image of in our head. Like, say you have, it's like with white sounds. I used to listen to white sounds quite a bit, and me and Timothy used to play this game of where we would try and create a scenario and then create a set of sounds for the scenario because my white sound mixer had like a ton of stuff like city sounds
Yeah.
and all that. And like
I think everybody like loves that customization because everybody has different ways they can go to sleep. Like some people hate the sound of rain, but some people like myself just love hearing the sound of raindrops as they hit the roof or
some
something.
people hate the sound of crickets and others are saying no.
I think why personally me and you do like the sound of crickets is because it and this actually goes into one of our things, but uh we had an experience whenever we were younger, so it's like kind of a nostalgic feature. So me and Dina go to a summer camp, and every night every night you can hear the crickets just absolutely roaring. It's amazing and so pretty. Some people can go to sleep to it, but whenever we were heard it, we were younger, so we were impressionable. Um, so I feel like that kind of stuck with us ever since.
Well, even still, a lot of people I know still don't like the sound of crickets, even though it's associated with a very
Mm-hmm.
memory.
And and this goes for everyone. Everyone has that sound that they are fond to and they hate. Like for instance, Daniel and most other people hate the iPhone alarm sound. The Yeah, well, I feel like again it's another thing with like emotionally scarring, because whenever people think of the pulse sound, aka the alarm sound, people connect it to something negative, like they have to wake up or they have to do something.
It's the end of bliss, as I heard a comedian call it.
Um, so people, uh, since people have been doing studies since the 20th century, people have a lot of information of it. We don't have like I didn't go that deep with it, but I have some little facts here and there. So music is known to tap into parts of our brain. That's why it's utilized by many experts in treating depression. So that's actually really cool because whenever you have a sound that makes you feel good or music that makes you feel good, then your brain goes to a place that is distracted away from everything else. Uh, I know personally, whenever I'm listening to like lo-fi or something, I instantly get in the mood to work. Um, and this goes for some people. Some people like will associate lo-fi with like bedtime and they get sleepy. The same thing with like having your desk space all cluttered and everything. You are impressioned by what your environment is and what you listen to. So that's a thing that happens with everyone, I think, right?
Mm.
Like personally, do you think what what song or what kind of tone gets you in the mood of productivity?
Oh, I typically, well, okay. So typically, as far as music is concerned, I listen to like a lot of folk music whenever I need to be productive, just because it's like jumpy enough that's like not putting me to sleep or relaxing me too much, but it's not so jumpy that I'm like I want to go ride the bike.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like sometimes whenever I hear certain music, it's like you instantly want it to be summer. So I feel like there's a part of us, as much as this isn't proven, I feel like a lot of people will listen to summer music, like stuff that is like targeted towards the summer and you listen to in the summer. I feel like they listen to that in winter because of how much they miss it. Oh, the tempo, rhythm, and pitch of music are managed in the areas of the brain that deals with emotion and mood. Um, and that that just goes so far because I mean it doesn't even have to be music. If you hear something like the sound of your microwave finishing or something, sometimes that will repeat in your head. And me and Daniel personally, we played video games and everything, and a lot of the sounds we just kind of randomly hear in like faintly in our head. And it's maybe because it's associated with whatever we did in the game. But that's just really cool to me how sounds can just change your emotion and the situation so drastically. Um, music is actually very vital to our health. Uh, and people say this all the time. They're like, "Oh, man, I wouldn't be living if it wasn't for music." In a lot of cases, that's very true. Um, because if you're generally like not a very excited person, like you need something to listen to that will put you in the mindset, because otherwise you're just going to be in this drowsy mood the whole day. Nothing's going to be changing your emotions.
Yeah, and like and sound can also be like it's a very important tool even in the film industry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with like horror movies, they play what is called dissonant tones. I can't actually remember the official name for the violin notes that are specific to dissonant tones, but basically dissonant tones are like notes that, when played together, off-put someone's mind, especially sharper notes. Like the sharp violins playing together in the background right before like Scream, I don't know, stab someone or something like that. It's like it can come into play as like sound cues for like revelations, and like we saw that in Avengers Endgame whenever Doctor Strange came back and all that.
Yeah, and people definitely use that, to their advantage with movies, because if there's actually movies, well, there's channels that will take out like the audio and like the everything else except for the voices in a movie, and then you just see how different the scene is. If you don't have those notes, if you don't have that music, that suspensefulness, then it's just dry. And then you start feeling that whenever you're in like a situation of stress or something. Like there's something in your head going like dun 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 dun, and and then your brain is triggered towards suspense because that's what you know suspense as. You know it as like a high pressured note or music. Well, that's me anyway. Yeah, let us know about that.
Like, have you ever seen the compilations of The Big Bang Theory, but they cut out the laugh track?
Oh yeah,
Just to
yeah.
show
No,
how
laugh
awkward
tracks were used so much in early 2000s because it was such a
well used,
yeah.
but
Well,
just a lot more subtle.
whenever you hear a laugh track, you are generally in a happy mood because you're like, oh, you know,
Other
you
people are
you get influenced by the crowd around you. So if I heard a laugh track on Sweet Life, on deck, I can't remember. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's it. um, I would instantly be like, oh, that's a funny joke, ha ha ha. Even if I didn't get it. And it's sad to say, but it is true. Scientists of the University of Missouri have found that people can boost their mood by listening to upbeat music. Sadder music can decrease the mood. People offer music therapy. People offer music therapy, and it has been used for centuries as a way to restore energy, improve mood, and even can help the body heal more naturally. Music is proven to deal with stress and a lot of other things like doctors suggest that soothing tunes to lower, they use soothing tunes to lower your heart rate and to help you breathe a little bit easier. So that's really interesting, like how they use it in the medical field. Making your own music has the same effect. So like that's incredible to me because whenever you drink coffee, you generally are at peace for the time being. I mean, this works for
Well,
different
depends on
people, but
how coffee affects.
yeah. But the same goes with making coffee too. You know, it can put you in a calm mood, and it can really affect your the rest of your day. So that's really interesting to consider in the morning. All right. The sound. The one thing that I found really interesting is apparently the sound of like big crowds. Of course, can make people stressed, but also make people really angry. Um, and that's interesting to me because I've always been in the situation that if I'm hearing a lot of people, I don't know. I feel like I can kind of work in an environment that has a lot of people speaking at the same time. What about you?
Well, out of the two of us, you're a bit more naturally extroverted, and well, I mean, a lot of people isn't always exactly the most comforting sound for me. But like, yeah, I can, I guess, see the safety, I guess, in the sound of a lot of
Yeah. It's almost like comforting because it's like you're surrounded by people
yeah.
in the
I
same.
don't know, I don't know, like that's quite as comforting.
Oh, I mean, it's just again, it's just the
It's
feeling
yeah, it's all
of the situation, the mood. Um, one thing is for sure that whenever people hear that though, whenever people hear uh like high amounts of people and everything like moving in a city or something, that makes people feel like they're so small, you know. And it's crazy how much stuff like that can just tear us apart so quickly. You know, we like there's this one time whenever I was younger, we were in Pittsburgh, and we were in the Science Center, Carnegie Science Center, and I had lost you guys, and I was like in that in this area, like the water area, and I was so distracted, and I was just totally used to hearing all these kids, and I got just drawn to what I was saying and everything, and I wasn't processing everything. I was kind of out of it. And then I looked up for like 1 second, and everyone was gone. That was in my group. So I got terrified, and I was like, "Where the heck is everyone?" And I didn't have a phone at the time, so I couldn't just like call anyone. But and then it's crazy because it plays such an important role in that type of situation as well. Because then like I feel like the noise gets louder to you, because you're in such a stressful situation that you're just feeling everything else. Whereas originally you didn't notice anything, and you were just completely, uh, disengaged from all the sound. But all of a sudden it just starts fading in. But that's some just interesting thoughts from us. Dan, do you have anything else to add?
Well, another thing I found really interesting is that people have talked about being able to hear silence. Like I haven't personally experienced this, but um, but our older brother has told us that like whenever he used to live on his own for a long time, it just got so quiet that the quiet became loud and like started ringing his ears
Yeah.
until someone start
Well,
talking over
people
the
have
phone.
tested with that. Like they have done experiments where they just sit in a completely soundproof room. And then that just starts to play with your brain, because whenever you're not having that voice of another person to comfort you in a way, even if you don't even if you're antisocial, you still want to hear somebody else. You can't then you start talking to yourself, and your voice becomes different, and it's weird. Um, but yeah, if you guys want us to do another thing on this, I know we both really enjoyed it. But yeah, leave down in the comments if you guys want us to continue part 2 or something of this. But yeah, I'm so glad we're back. I have so many ideas. Just let us know what you guys want to hear in the comments down below. And yeah, say goodbye.